So we're actually going to flow on to our next part with our first official keynote speaker. She's looking at me strangely. So Lilla BENIGNO. So Lilla, we actually met for the first time at this event back in 2018. So she has been a major part, and she was here last year as well. And this woman, and you'll hear from her story, she's been through a lot, and some of us couldn't even conceive. And this is why I say, if any moments do come up for you that you need to take a moment to think about, you are in a beautiful, safe space. But Lilla is a woman who has absolute courage, grit, resilience. And over the last couple of years, we have seen this remarkable woman literally transform and go from strength to strength. You will see what I mean from the very beginning of when she starts speaking and taking you on her journey to where she is right now. She has overcome so much, and she is a powerhouse and a beautiful, beautiful soul. And I'm so grateful to have her in my world. So I will hand over now, and I would love you to please give Lilla a very warm welcome.
First of all, before I get into my story, I'd like to say to James, I'm addicted with a twist. With a twist. But my very first question that I like to ask to everyone is, has anyone in the audience has ever written a memoir of their life story and published it? You have? Yeah? Wonderful. And I did too. It took me 8 years to write my story. 8 years of a lot of tears, 8 years of procrastination, and finally I published it. And I published it for a reason only, and that was because I've got a beautiful, strong message to give out there. So when I did that, I thought, yeah. Excuse me, everyone. That's right. I was really apprehensive about writing my book, and I'm sorry if I sound nervous, but this is the first time that I ever spoke in front of a whole heap of audience. I was really apprehensive, and recently, thank you very much. I was really apprehensive in writing my book, and the reason being because I felt, well, I'm not an actress, I'm not a celebrity, I'm not a millionaire, but no matter what, I still went ahead and did it. And I'm so glad that I did. When I was a teenager, I took 3 LSD. Any of you guys know what LSD is? You do? Not all at once. Or else I wouldn't be here talking to you guys. I would be 6 feet underground. So I took 3 LSD as an experiment to find out what it was like. And the first one that I took, I thought, oh my God, this is amazing. This is beautiful, colors everywhere. And I didn't want it to end. You know, I kept on looking at my hands. So I went in front of the mirror, and all I saw was just colors moving my head from side to side. I went and opened the door, and outside the wind was going from one side to the other. And yeah, I thought, I want to have another experience like that. So I took another one. Unfortunately, I got ripped off because I went to sleep at midnight. So I thought, okay. The third one I took, it felt like I had these strong thoughts of chopping my legs off, so the doctors could actually put normal legs, false legs, so I could run, I could play tennis, and I could be like everybody else, have normal legs. Having said that, that was the last time that I took LSD, because that thought was so strong that I got 2 liters of water, went under the bed, drank water, because I knew that water would flash out all the LSD. It took hours, you know, but I thank God that I didn't chop my legs. I thank God that the LSD was out of my system, and it was the last time that I ever took LSD. I went through life, before I go into that, excuse me for a minute. That's right. One day, I visualized to put 2 little wings on my back. As I was going through life and through my own experiences of determination, resilience, like James was talking about, I felt like I was growing mentally, psychologically, and spiritually. And I felt that my wings were getting higher and higher and wider and wider. And then one day, I found myself jumping off a cliff, visualizing, of course, not for real, again, I would be dead. And I was flying. I was actually flying like an eagle. And you all know that an eagle is the most powerful bird in the planet, right? And I did that. The reason is because I felt so tired of playing the victim role, so tired of being the survivor, and I needed so badly to change my life. And these 2 little wings helped me to do it. As I'm going through my story, I will show you the message behind it, what my life was about. But before I get into that, I like to tell you, look, I was going to read it, but I won't. I'd like to tell you a bit what polio is. Polio is a crippling disease. And actually last night, I had a bit of a research. You know, I had really wanted to find out a little bit about it. Did you know that poliomyelitis, short for polio, it's actually a disease that it started when the Egyptians were alive, 300,000 years ago. And I actually didn't know that. A Roman Emperor actually had polio in one leg, and he had a limp, and in the end he died because of it. Now, this is World Health Organization, stated it that about 10 to 20 million human beings, and the reason why I'm saying human beings, because I'm talking about babies, contracted the polio virus over the years. And it became so bad in 1916, that they had to shut down the schools. They had to shut down schools, so children, because the children were the ones who actually got it the most. For some unknown reasons, it was actually into the water too. And today, our water is completely different from the water that I had in those years, like 200 years ago, 300 years ago. It was very polluted, and they didn't know that this disease actually came from the water. Everybody thought that it came from the air, but it wasn't. It was from the water. And I caught it when I was 6 months old, while my mum was giving me a bath. So that's a little bit of insight of what polio is. And it's a crippling disease. It affects your bones, and it makes your muscles and your spinal cord. And what happens is, when that hits you, you go paralyzed. It paralyzes you from top to bottom. A lot of people have died, a lot of babies have died, a lot of people have died too, but I'm one of the lucky ones. I'm still alive here to tell you all my story. Who needs legs when you've got wings to fly? The reason why I came out with that is because I love to visualize. I love to put a seed in my brain and to make it come true. That seed, it becomes either my goal, my achievement, and I promise to myself that I can do anything I like and my legs won't stop me. All I have to do is just shut my eyes, plant a seed, go for it, and achieve it. So this is the beginning of my story, ladies and gentlemen. This is me and my mother when I caught polio in Palermo. And that's me when I was 12 years old and I was wearing calipers in my legs. And I wore calipers until I was 18 years old. As you can see, my mother was holding me in the back because the polio that I caught had disabled both of my legs and my left arm. I nearly died, but my father, thanks to my father, he gave me transfusion of his blood. And I'm alive because of the beautiful act that he did for me. Marilyn Monroe, a wonderful ambassador. Thank you, Leslie, for that beautiful word. Wonderful ambassador for polio survivors. And again, there's my mother and my father. And if you can see properly, I've got plastic things on my feet because my feet were really twisted. And there's no way that I could walk, even 2 years old. There's no way that I could walk like a normal baby. I was really disabled. Uh-oh. Oh, I can't see it from there. Yeah. My parents were really devastated, but they had to do something because by then they had 5 children. Altogether, my mum and dad had 15 children. 3 of them passed away, and I'm the only one who caught polio. So they decided to actually send me to the convent with the nuns. And I am in there in an iron lung. What the iron lung does is help you to breathe because I actually caught polio even in my lungs. Not severe, but the way the nuns gave me the torture exercises, I used to hide. I used to go under the bed thinking, they're not going to catch me. But they did all the time. And they gave me torture, you know, with these exercises. And I had to do them. And thank God that I did them. Because if I didn't do them, I wouldn't have been able to walk at all. And which I did walk until I was 18 years old. So, and people kept on asking me, what was it like living in the nuns? I kept on telling them, oh, I had a ball, you know, I had three meals a day, I had my own bed, number 18. But I never told them the truth. I was structured, you know, everything was structured in the convent. You go to bed at a certain time, you go to church, you believe in God. You have all these beautiful ideas of how to become a better person. But I felt neglected with love. I felt really alone as a child. I didn't receive no business cards. Birthday cards from my mom and dad, not even a phone call. And I automatically thought that I was abandoned, that I was an orphan. And this is where my resilience came in, that I went that far one day that I decided to hit my best girlfriend in the head. And then my girlfriend screamed out, and then Nun came to me and smacked me on the head, and automatically said, I've got a pain here. Yeah. If I would have said this side, she would probably give me another smack on the head. But I said, here. And the nun looked at me and she said, go to the dormitory. I'll get a doctor. I didn't have a pain at all. I was acting. This is how much I needed love. I went to any extent to get love. To be hugged, to be kissed, to be told that I was okay the way I was. Next thing, the doctor came up the dormitory. Thank you, beautiful Leslie. Thank you. I'm just going to put it here just because I want to start bullying myself. Next thing, the doctor came and he poked me exactly the same place where I poked myself. He looked at the nun and he said, this little girl needs her appendix out. We need to give her an operation straight away. And I thought, what is that? what's appendix? What's an operation? Next thing I knew that the nun was really nice with me, that one that hit me in the head. And she was really nice, put a beautiful little dress, and she was carrying me this time. She actually was carrying me, and I thought, why is she carrying me? Then later on, I found out that appendix 2 burst, and you could die over the years. So I kept this secret. I went to have an operation, and then, yes, when I came out of the theatre, yes, I was in pain, real pain. For 1 week I was there, and then I thought, that's how far I went, you know, to gain that love. But then one day, I had to leave the convent, whether I liked it or not. So I came in Australia with my parents. By then, my mum and dad had about 12 children. 2 other children were born here. 10 children. 2 other children were born here in Australia. So I had 7 sisters and 4 brothers. I didn't get along with my family again, not because they were bad people, and I couldn't get along with my siblings either, not because they were bad people, but because I was starving. I was craving for so much love and attention, but I felt like I wasn't getting it. So you know what I did? At 15 years old, I ran away from home with my 2 little calipers. I decided to run away from home by thinking that I was going back to the convent with the nuns, because that's what I wanted to do. But unfortunately, I ended up in the streets of Melbourne in St Kilda. And I lived there for 10 years as a disabled teenager. Bus stop, they were my regular places where I used to sleep. And one day, a beautiful man picked me up. Every time I did something in the streets, they always wanted sex from me, because I didn't know any better. I thought sex was love. If someone bought me a drink, I'd give him sex. I didn't understand. I was naive. So one day I was sleeping in a bus stop, as usual, because bus stops were the only places that I sometimes I would actually get a rock and smash the light off so I could, you know, be very dark. But this person picked me up, gave me shelter for the night, gave me something to eat. He didn't want sex, you know. And when he came down the stairs, he was a policeman. He came downstairs with his wife and 2 children, dressed as a policeman. By then, I was learning to keep my mouth shut, to stay quiet, don't say nothing to anybody. And I got raped many times. I got gang raped 2 times. I was kidnapped. I tried to commit suicide so many times because I believed that I was the scum of the earth because of my legs. I didn't want to live. And committing suicide, every time the doctors brought me back, I thought, you bastards, I want to leave. I want to die. And I would scream at them, and they put me in a mental institution for a couple of times. And I thought, this is a really bad life to live. And this is a painting that I did of the policeman that helped me out, and I wish to God that I knew his name, so I could have said, thank you. My teacher bought it off me. Then one day I visualized, here we go with my visualizing again. I used to bite my nails a lot. I don't now. I got nails now. This is how calm I am. I used to bite my nails a lot, and I visualized of actually going up this. It was like a hole, a black hole, going up this black hole. My fingers were bleeding. I was about 25 years old, and I decided to stop it, to stop living in the streets. I decided to seek help, to go to the Addiction Help Agency, to Odyssey House in Melbourne. I did 4 years. I didn't understand the program, by the way. I did 4 years in Melbourne and 6 months this is one of my photos of me, what I looked like when I was living in the streets. Very cute, eh? Just say yes to make me feel better. I know I'm getting older now, but just say yes. And this is the very beginning of my recovery. the road less travel. I didn't understand about the program at all, but I was moving up levels. I was going from pre-treatment to level 1, level 2. Me, egotistical, the ego inside me wanted to be level 3, level 4. And of course, I couldn't make it because I couldn't talk about my feelings. I couldn't talk about my traumas. I couldn't talk about how I was feeling. And every time when they gave me a probe is a group of people who actually ask you questions, and you've got to be really honest and tell them, oh, look, yes, I'm doing fine. You know, do you feel angry, Lilla? Oh, no, no, no. But yet, when I was out there, I would tell everybody to go and get blah, blah. You know, the big word. But I won't say it. So I went in RC house full of rage, full of anger, but I persevered with it. That was the beginning of my change. I persevered because I didn't want to give up. But after 4.5 years, I felt that my wings were getting a little bit higher, and I thought, okay, time to go. Time to move on. I left Melbourne and I decided to come in Cairns. And I found out that I was pregnant. And again, beautiful photos, eh? And this is my beautiful daughter when she was 6 months old and when she was about 6 years old. But there's a little bit of a story there. When I actually had my daughter, it took me 3 days to make up my mind. I had it in 1 hour, by the way. What happened, they said to me, don't move from the bed, Lilla, have your lunch, but don't move because the floor is wet. And I said, yeah, all right. And they told me, you got to go around the other side, opposite, you know, that's when you have the baby. Well, of course, I didn't listen to them. So I got up, walked, and I did the splits, right? That's why when my daughter came out, it was only 1 hour. Only took 1 hour for her to pop out. And I hardly had any pains. Only a couple of stitches, but that's about it. But when my mother, I had a big decision to make, you know, like it took me 3 days to make up my mind if I was going to keep my daughter or not. Because I was scared. Like, I've never been a mum before. What am I going to do? You know, how do I change nappy? How do I feed her? You know, how do I do all these things? So I went downstairs, rang up my mum, and I said, Mama, I've got a little girl. I don't know what to do. Mum straight away said to me, keep her, Lilla. You're going to grow so much. You're going to learn how to love her. You're going to learn how to be a mother, and you will have people there who will support you and who will be there to help you out. So I went upstairs into the elevator, went straight on the 6th ward, and I said, I want to see my baby. I want to see my baby, because I hadn't seen her. So they put this beautiful little bundle in my arm. I looked at her, and I just melted. All my worries went away. I didn't have nothing prepared for her. All my worries went away, and I remember telling her, and I said, no matter what, I'm going to look after you for the rest of your life. And that's when I started crying in front of everyone. So being a mother has taught me a lot about unconditional love and how to set my daughter free when she grew up at a certain age. You know, when she was 18 years old, I had to let her go, you know. But she came back to me anyway. But it's so beautiful being a mum. It's just such a gift. And she's here in the audience with me today. And she's always been there to support me, and I love it tremendously. Me, when I learned how to play the guitar on my own, again, cute pictures, eh? But that, you know, I switched the bitch for the witch. When I got off the drugs, I went into alcohol, you know, to stop the traumas, because the traumas were coming back, but I didn't understand them at all. So I started drinking and drinking. And it felt like I didn't know how to stop. So I went to AA for 10 years, on and off. And I was learning 1 day at a time how to stop drinking. And I stayed sober for about 5 years. And then I relapsed. And then I got back to AA. And relapsed again, got back to AA. And then I thought, hey, come on, Wings, grow, please. Grow. I need to stop going to AA, because everything that I was doing, it was becoming like an institution. And I got sick and tired of all institutions. So I looked at RIA as another institution. I've got to learn how to gain my own power, how to be more free on my own. I was scared, but I was doing it without realizing that I was doing it, actually doing it. So when my daughter was about 8 years old, I went back to school. Mind you, I'd never been to school before. You know, like the very last time that I went to school was Glen Waverley High School. I smashed the chair on the girl's head because she called me creeper wog, right? I didn't understand what creeper was, but I knew what wog was. And I got expelled after 6 months. You know, and I thought, you little bitch, you can't get away with that. So I stood up for myself. It was then that I knew how strong I was. Diploma Visual Arts. All the other girls got their diploma in 2 years. Me, 5 years. 5. I didn't know how to do an essay. So what I did, I got books and books and books. How do you do this? Oh, you do the introduction and then the middle and then the end of it. Anyway, long story short, I got about 4 distinctions for essays. For major, the last big one, I did 50 masks of all my life stories. And I got another distinction. So I was so proud of myself. It was right there and then that I knew that my wings were growing taller and wider. And these are some of the paintings that I've done, that have been sold. And as you can see, one of them, this on the left here, and I loved high heels, stilettos. Tina, wearing still big high heel shoes. That's probably why me and Tina get along, because she loves to wear them. Stiletto and just some paintings. Altogether, I did 2 exhibitions here in Cairns. One was in 2005, which went really well, and one in 2011 at the Thanks Arts Centre, which that one didn't go so well because I went next door and got drunk and listened to a band. So I left the exhibition. So sorry about that. But I did sell 2 paintings. And then I decided to get all the diaries together, you know, and I thought, okay, I'm going to write a book about my story, about my message. Because the people of Cairns, what they did when I first came here, and Beatrice was only a young, she was about 5 years old, what they did, they all raised funds for me, right? Because I had this motorised wheelchair, and I only had it for 9 days, sorry. And then the 10th day, I decided to go to the Cairns Post. So they could put my picture and my daughter together, you know, to ask the people of Cairns to give me a hand to get this wheelchair, this motorised wheelchair. It took them only about 6 or 7 hours. Everyone from Cairns all put in. Money was $3,250. And then it was like the biggest freedom ever for me. You know, that's why I went back to school. That's why I could send my daughter to school. And, you know, I could do all the things that a lot of you people could do so easily, but it was really hard for me, and I could get drunk even more. And that's when once I met Bert Newton. And I went up with him with my motorised wheelchair, and I said, "Hello, Moonface." And I went, oh my God, how embarrassing. Moonface. You don't call a celebrity Moonface. But anyway, I published my book in 2019, and that was another wonderful achievement. My wings were getting higher and higher. This is me and my daughter on my book launch. Another cute picture, eh? This is me and my daughter kissing me, showing me so much love. I love music. Music is one of the things that helped me to survive. You know, it doesn't matter what I went through with the gang rapes and everything. It doesn't matter. You know, music, as soon as you put music in my ears, bang, I'm gone. It's another world for me. My will survive. And this is Beatrice when she was about, I think, 18, 19. But she still looks the same to me, gorgeous. And then I came to my very first Radiance in 2018. This is when I met Leslie. And I was incredibly amazed of the way she was walking up and down this space. And I was just memorized, you know, of the way she was talking. And I thought, ooh, I want to be like her, you know. And all the ladies that spoke, oh, I want to be like her too. And I want to be like her, like her, like her, like everyone. I even want to be like James, the way he spoke. Because he spoke really well, I have to say, beautiful, beautiful speech. And she suggested, Leslie suggested for me to go to Toastmasters so I could learn more about my, you know, how to speak properly and not to get too nervous, which I am nervous now, but I'm sure that I'm doing fine, you know, so I'm okay, you know, I'm all right. And this picture, it's so funny because there was only 3 of us, okay? And I got the 3rd award. And I put, there was only 3 of us. And I put up on my Facebook, oh, I won the 3rd award of the best speaker. But Tina won the 2nd one, and Rita won the 1st one. But there was only 3 of us. So, you know, I thought, this is important for me, so I'm going to use it to my own advantage, right? So I thought, yeah, and Toastmasters, it's beautiful because I've met wonderful people such as Tina, Louise, I've met Blesta, Andrea, you know, and Eugene, and all this, even Chantal, you know, comes there sometimes. And I thought, it's just wonderful, you know, wonderful to have met such beautiful people that I can keep in contact with, and I can rely on them, especially in calling them, you know, and ask them. And when I go to Toastmasters, that's what I do. I go there for a laughter now. It's all funny. For me, everything is funny. You know, the speeches, everything, all the roles that I get, I just truly, truly love it. And I think it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. If you want to join Toastmasters, come and see me. Then I was approached by beautiful Leslie to do a course, you know, about my pitch and how to use my hands when I talk, because I can't use the wheelchair going up and down just in case I fall over. And in this course, it was really great because one of the things that I did, that I was doing, was I was comparing myself with other women in the course. You know, I saw all these beautiful business women, and the second day I didn't want to go. I actually started crying. And I said, Leslie, I don't want to go. They're all business women. I'm nothing, you know, I'm nobody. And Leslie knelt down and she said to me, darling, you're courageous. You've been through a lot. She must have read my book. I think she did. You went through a lot, and you know, you're very resilient. One thing that I'd like you to understand, don't compare yourself with other women because you don't know what happened to them. You know, you see them objectively, not by their status or anything like that. And that's what I started doing. And then I started loving the course that I did with her and was getting feedback, you know, from other women, the way I was talking. I was giving feedback to the other women, how they were talking, so I felt important too. It was a wonderful course to do, you know, find your voice, master your message. How wonderful is that? And after that, I received a finished, not a diploma, just to say that I had finished the course. But it was so wonderful for me that I put it in a frame, and it's in my wall now. It's in my wall, and and these are all the beautiful women that I met: Yolanda, Jamal, and Emma, Kathy, Chantal, and a few other women that are not here today. You know, but all these women have taught me that beauty comes within, not without. You know, I mean, I can be the clown, I can be anybody I like to, you know, but at the same time, I realize that loving myself as I am is the best, wonderful gift that I can give to anyone out there who doesn't feel the same. And then one day I was approached by another person to do a course on becoming a businesswoman. Biggest dream of mine, becoming a businesswoman. What does it mean? For me, at the time, it meant the title, businesswoman, right? But then I realized, now hang on, businesswoman is to become financially independent on your own. Financially independent. How beautiful is that? And I never thought that I could be financially independent, but I am. So this is another 2.5 weeks hard work from 9 until 4. Had a beautiful support worker with me who came with me 9 until 4 for 2.5 weeks. And then we had a little party, a little to show our paintings off. Leslie bought one of my paintings. And yeah, it was just amazing. So that's what it means for me, being financially independent. And now, who needs normal legs when you have learned how to fly? The most powerful bird in the planet, the eagle, the warrior. And this is who I am today. I am not the survivor anymore. I am not the victim. I don't play the victim role anymore. I own my own power. And I love to call myself a warrior today. And the reason why I say a warrior is because I don't have to label myself into anything that just to please other people, you understand? And I've decided that I've always loved eagles, so now I'm going to say thanks to a few people because it's time for me to finish soon. I'd like to say thank you to my mother and my father for giving me life and saving my life. I love to say thank you to my daughter Beatrice for supporting me so much all through these years. And she has seen the worst and the best times out of me. I'd like to thank Sylvia Reid for helping me with NDIS and showing me a new way of life or how I can come here and talk to you all about my story. I'd also like to thank, oh, what's it called? Toastmaster, Cairns Reef Toastmasters, for showing me a new way on how to talk and how to be more myself and show a lot of more sense of humor. I'd like to thank Lisa Monks for doing the most wonderful video of me, and her and I, we had so much laugh that Macha nearly fell on the side of, what do you call it? Yes, and I nearly fell over together, but she made a beautiful video, so thank you, Lisa. And I also like to thank the panel of Radiance for giving me the opportunity to actually come up here and tell you all my story. And I'd like to thank Leslie and Hema for being wonderful, and especially you, Leslie, for being so coaching me and give me the, the courage to get up here with confidence. And I was good, I didn't cry that much, did I? Confidence, so thank you. I'd like to thank also all my brothers and my sisters, even though I don't have much contact with them, but I do love them unconditionally. I'd like to thank my support workers too, very briefly, and that is Marcia Muir, Chloe Peru, and beautiful Shelley Jenkins over there, and also Anna Chito, who worked with me for a while, and then we decided to apart. But last not least, I'd like to thank myself for being the most courageous woman in the planet. Thank you.